Supposed comet is catching the attention of some of the nation's most renowned scientists, as one Harvard professor is raising the theory this may actually be a piece of alien technology.
Something unreal just crashed into our solar system, and the whole science world is losing its mind over it. The object, named 3I Atlas, was first spotted on July 1st, 2025.
1st of July, NASA detected a mysterious object speeding toward Earth, and some actual bona fide experts think it might not be your typical space rock or maybe any kind of rock or a natural phenomenon at all.
And it's tearing through space at a shocking 200,000 kilometers per hour. What's wild is that its flight path doesn't make any sense. It's like it's moving with a purpose no one can explain. This mysterious visitor is behaving like a comet, showing traces of water and ice.
What if an interstellar object whirling through our solar system is actually a nuclear-powered spacecraft sent by aliens to test how humans respond?
But its route is so perfectly synced with our planetary orbits that some experts are whispering, maybe it's not natural at all. Harvard astrophysicist Avi Loeb, the same guy who once said Oumuamua might be alien tech, just dropped a bold new paper suggesting that 3I Atlas could actually be a disguised probe from another civilization.
With 0 meaning it's a natural object, like a comet, for sure. And 10 meaning it's definitely a technological object.
But here's the real shocker. New data shows this thing might be creating its own light. If that's true, everything we thought we knew about its size and nature gets thrown out the window. Strap in, because what we're dealing with here is next-level cosmic mystery. The discovery came from the Asteroid Terrestrial Impact Last Alert System, better known as ATLAS, running out of Chile.
New telescope built to track fast-moving space objects in Chile has caught a comet from beyond the solar system moving across the sky.
When astronomers first locked onto this object, they instantly knew something was off. Its orbital eccentricity is higher than 1, meaning it's not tied to our sun at all. This thing isn't from around here, it's just passing through, on one of the wildest interstellar trajectories ever recorded. Now, here's where it gets even crazier. The Hubble Space Telescope has been tracking it closely, snapping high-resolution shots that show a strange, glowing pattern, one we've never seen before. The brightness is so steep that scientists can't explain it using normal comet behavior. And that brightness pattern? It's changing the entire conversation. Normally, when we estimate how big something is out there, we assume it's reflecting sunlight. Using that logic, 3I Atlas would need to be around 20 kilometers wide to shine as bright as it does. That's enormous. Nearly 40 times larger than past interstellar visitors like Oumuamua or 2I/Borisov. But Avi Loeb and Eric Cato notice something that flips the whole theory upside down. The light pattern fits an object that's glowing on its own, not just reflecting the sun. If that's true, then 3I Atlas could be way smaller than we think, maybe just a few hundred meters wide. That's not a small detail, that's a full-on cosmic plot twist. Here's why that matters. The odds of finding a 20-kilometer interstellar asteroid are basically 0. Loeb's research shows that the universe doesn't have enough big chunks of rock flying around for something that massive to show up here often, maybe once every 10,000 years. But a smaller, self-illuminating object? That changes everything. Suddenly, the math starts to make sense, and the possibilities, they're absolutely mind-blowing. So, what could make something glow on its own out there in the dark? There are a few wild theories, and not all of them are natural. Some scientists think radioactive decay could make it shine, but finding that much radioactive material drifting through interstellar space is nearly impossible. Others believe it could be thermal emission, meaning it's heating itself from the inside out. But that would mean the object is burning hotter than physics says it should. Or maybe, just maybe, we're looking at something artificial. Spectroscopic data from Gemini South and NASA's Infrared Telescope facility show strong signs of water ice, carbon-rich minerals, and silicas. What's strange is that this ice seems chemically pure. No heavy isotopes, no contamination, nothing like what we usually see in our solar system. That's the part that's making scientists lose sleep, because it hints this object could have come from somewhere truly alien. This water may have been born billions of years ago in a completely different star system, meaning 3I Atlas could be carrying a time capsule from another corner of the galaxy. That alone would be historic. But instead of closing the case, this evidence might actually support the artificial probe theory in a way nobody expected. Think about it. If 3I Atlas really is some kind of probe or spacecraft, then the ice and dust we're seeing might not be native at all. It could just be cosmic grime, material swept up during millions or even billions of years, drifting through deep space. A disguise built naturally over time. Now, let's get into its flight path, because that's where things start looking seriously suspicious. In their paper is the interstellar object 3I Atlas Alien Technology. Avi Loeb and his team ran the numbers, and what they found is straight-up jaw-dropping. I-Atlas is moving on a retrograde orbit, tilted only 5 degrees from the ecliptic plane, the same thin disk where Earth and most planets travel. The odds of that happening randomly? About 0.2%. That's not just rare, that's freakishly rare. And it gets crazier when you see how close this visitor's getting to our worlds. It'll swing within 29 million kilometers of Mars on October 3rd, reach perihelion at 1.35 astronomical units on October 29th, and later come within 33 million kilometers of Jupiter. The combined chance of a random interstellar object making close approaches to 3 major planets, roughly 0.005%. 1 in 20,000. That's a cosmic bullseye. Here's another eyebrow raiser. 3. Atlas hits its closest approach to the Sun exactly when Earth is hidden on the opposite side. We won't even be able to see it during the most crucial part of its journey. If you were designing a craft to do its thing without Earth watching, this timing would be flawless. Loeb even calls it a potential reverse solar birth maneuver, a high-thrust braking move that could let an interstellar craft slow down and maybe even hang around our solar system. And thanks to the Sun's glare, the whole operation would be invisible to our telescopes. Either the luckiest coincidence ever, or evidence of careful planning. Still, we've got to be fair. Most astronomers studying 3I Atlas insist it's a natural interstellar comet, not alien tech. And they're not just guessing. David Jewett from UCLA, who's been poring over Hubble's data, says the object is showing classic comet behavior. A strong case for the natural explanation. The dust shooting off 3I Atlas is clocking in between 6 and 60 kilograms per second, right in the sweet spot for normal comet activity. Even the ejection speeds, between 20 and 2,000 meters per second, line up perfectly with what we've seen from standard comets before. And for anyone wondering why we haven't spotted gases like cyanogen or diatomic carbon yet, chill, that's not unusual. Right now, 3I Atlas is still about 4 astronomical units away from the Sun, roughly where Jupiter hangs out. Most comets don't really start venting gas until they get much closer, when solar heat starts cooking the ice. So far, the pattern still makes sense for a comet. But that self-illumination theory, that's where things get wild. If 3I Atlas really is glowing by itself, it would need to pump out around 10 gigawatts of power, about as much as several massive power plants combined. Keeping that kind of energy going over millions of years would mean one of two things: an impossible amount of fuel or some type of tech we can't even dream of yet. That's why the next few months are absolutely crucial. As 3I Atlas gets closer to the Sun, telescopes should start catching those classic gas plumes. If it's a comet, we'll know soon. The James Webb Space Telescope already has it locked in its sights. ready to capture deep infrared data that could reveal its true temperature and maybe even how it's glowing. And get this, when it passes near Mars in early October, the high-rise camera aboard NASA's Mars Reconnaissance Orbiter might actually snag ultra-high-res images. That could give us our first ever close-up of an interstellar object's surface, and maybe prove once and for all whether it's reflecting sunlight or shining on its own. But that's not the only thing to get hyped about. The brand new Vera C. Rubin Observatory just started operations, and it's expected to find dozens of interstellar visitors every single year. Finally, we'll have enough data to tell what's normal and what's truly alien-level strange. Now, imagine this. If the self-illumination theory turns out to be real, we wouldn't just be looking at another rock. We'd be staring at something built, an object following a planned route through our solar system. That would be the biggest discovery in human history. Proof that we're not alone. Even if 3I Atlas turns out to be a natural phenomenon, it's already blowing our minds. Its light, its motion, its mystery. It's teaching us that interstellar visitors can behave in ways we never even imagined. Whether it's exotic physics or next-level technology, this thing is forcing us to rethink what's possible out there. 3I Atlas is still on the move, and every new image brings us closer to the truth. October's Mars encounter, the hidden perihelion pass, and December's Earth flyby are our best chances to finally solve this cosmic riddle once and for all. One way or another, we're witnessing science history in motion, the kind that reshapes how we see the universe and maybe even ourselves. The cosmos is full of mysteries, and this visitor is proof that we've barely scratched the surface of what's out there. Whether it's natural or made, one thing's for sure. 3I Atlas has changed the game forever. If you're hooked on space mysteries and mind-blowing discoveries, don't miss what's coming next. Like, subscribe, and stay tuned, because the universe is just getting started, and we'll see you on the next one.